have so many troops. But for the time being, because we're still in the early matches, this is not too difficult. In fact, this is the first round that I have enemies from all 3 sides, and you could already tell this is not as daunting as it is about to get. But I do want to ensure that the enemies coming from the south don't make it through because I have some strong farms there, so I do increase my defense before facing these enemies from all 3 sides. It does do some damage to my wallet, however, because like I said, all my troops cost double. Of course, because of this, they deal more damage, but it's still no walk in the park. After I have most, if not all, of my gold resources built, I can start focusing on towers. And I'm not maxing out my houses because usually they can only go to tier 2, but in Endless, they can go to tier 3 and it costs like 20 gold for maybe 3 extra gold, but you'll see why that is in a minute. Basically, every round that I start to get enemies from each side of me is beginning to be a struggle, and I almost die a few times here, where my castle gets pretty low on health. However, the rounds where they just come from like 1 or 2 sides are a complete cakewalk. And because of that, I'm able to quickly make it to round 15, which is where it starts to get a bit more intense. You can tell the rounds also just have a lot stronger enemies. Like, these are enemies that during the base game, you only see in the later levels. These are like siege engines being launched at me. And what sucks is a lot of the gold that can be farmed in this map is at the entrance to your castle. So all these farms that I've built are just getting completely demolished, and I'm not getting the resources I need. With that being said, I prioritize my troops, and I'm able to get everything maxed. I even have, on this map, there are 3 champion troops, or hero troops, I forget, but I have a fire wing, a mage, and a golem to help me out. The fire wing really comes in clutch because there are a lot of air troops, which is also why the next thing I'm upgrading are my towers, because these are getting outrageous. At this point, walls also become essential, and it's just allocating my gold the right way that's keeping me alive. I really need to make sure I put it towards exactly what I need, and I have to make sure I get as much as I can during these rounds. Even though I get rounds with just like 100 enemies at some points, it's fine if it's just from one direction, but these rounds from all over just completely obliterate me.